Welcome back to it. Well, that happened. In this episode, we're talking about employees getting naked on the dance floor at a work event and some other employees who didn't realize they were being watched while in the hot tub. I'm back talking to my friend Anthony about these stories and more, so let's jump into the conversation.
That does remind, actually, speaking of conferences, when I was at the same potato chip company, we were at this, I know you know what this organization is, but in case our viewers don't, a company called, or an organization called Out and Equal. So I define it, and tell me if you would agree. It's where all the corporate power gays gather on an annual basis. Yes. And it's held in various cities and such. And it's your typical conference. You know, you've got your sessions, you've got your main sessions, you've got your education stuff, and then you've got your kind of expo where everybody has a. So of course I was there and manning the expo and stuff, but and going to the sessions. And then one night there was this designated. It was in Austin, Texas, that we were at this year. And there was a designated bar everybody was going to go to, and it was called, as I recall, it was called Oil Can Harry's.
Yes, I've been there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice bar, right? Because it's got a dance floor, it's got a proper bar, it's got an outdoor place. So it kind of had something for everybody. So not everybody at the conference, though, is gay. There's a lot of allies there. So this bar was kind of mixed. So, you know, I was in there and I saw my friend Sam, who worked at American Airlines, hadn't seen him in a while. So we kind of just went on the back patio and caught up the whole time. Well, when we both decided that we were like, okay, we're too old to be in a bar this late, we decided to leave. And the way you had to go out, as I recall, or the way we did, you had to kind of skirt the dance floor to get to the main door and go out. Well, most gay clubs, there are pedestals, boxes, as it were, where people get up scantily clad or not clad, and dance. So as I'm walking out with Sam in front of me, I look up at this guy on this box dancing away. And I think, because, I should note, he has nothing on except a hand grabbing the goods. And that's how he's chosen to dance. I'll get to this in a second, but I look up and just as I'm thinking, wow, that's a nice fill in the blank, I realize it's one of my employees. Now, this person did not report to me, but
right,
I'm the HR guy. Right.
Oh.
So now I see this. Now I'm probably 4 or 5 glasses of wine or beer or whatever I was drinking that night in. So I'm probably not totally professional.
Right.
Oh, and I should note, to paint the picture, the guy had a snake tattoo that started up here and coiled around his whole body and went all the way to his ankle down one leg.
So it's not as if he could just hide. It's very distinctive.
No. And so then he had brought his husband, partner, whatever this other person was, trick of the week, who knows, but they were dancing on the other pedestal and they had their underwear on. And I pulled Sam aside. I'm like, oh my God, what should I do? He's like, Rob, we just need to.
Yeah.
So I wake up the next day and who's the first people assigned to man the booth? Those two, Tweedledee and Tweedledum. And I was like, you two need to leave. Everybody in here has seen too much of you two. And whether they know it or not, no, you cannot represent the company today. So you're going to go back to your rooms.
What'd they say?
They just kind of hung their heads. They knew they're like, well, we didn't know you saw us. I'm like, that's the point. I mean, we had probably, as a company, there's probably 40 or 50 of us that were sent to this conference from all over the country.
Right.
And for you to be that boneheaded and not realize that somebody from the company probably saw you, as Absolutely. This was literally on like the agenda for the night. Hey, this is where everybody's going to go gather. We've rented the bar for the night or whatever it is. Now you've missed this is how you're representing our company.
Yeah.
And none of these people should see your penis.
No.
Or your butt. And not even in your underwear.
Right.
I could maybe get behind the shirt off. It was hot. It was summer.
Sure. I feel like if you're going to do those kind of things and you're traveling and you know that there are a lot of people from your company there, if you want to do that, go to a different bar. You know what I mean? Like, well, that caters to that, because you should just automatically default to the fact that someone likely will see me.
Yeah.
You know, I just, that would be the smart thing to do.
They're smart would not be an adjective I would attribute to them. And I know we took them off the schedule for the expo, but I can't remember if we I don't think we sent them home early. And I don't think I was like, all right, you're going to get a pass. I'm not going to bring this up. If somebody else does, then the gloves are off.
Yeah.
Or the underwear is off, so to speak. So, but I don't think they got in trouble because nobody else said it.
I mean, you also could have handled it a different way.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me more.
So what you could have done is said, it wasn't appropriate for that, for that audience and people seeing you. However, we do have some really high powered clients that we're trying to curry some favor with. So if you could just go to room 506 at around 11 o'clock and entertain them. I mean, it could have been a really good opportunity to close some deals, based on who the customers were.
They could have done a private dance.
Right. B2B. So, you got to try different ways of marketing your services. Yes. And sometimes you just do things that are a little outside the box, if you will.
Yeah.
Or all out of the box. Off the box, out of the box.
I'll kind of wrap up with one more story. It involves a hot tub. And it's not only men.
Love hot tubs.
It's not only men. This one. We're going to let the ladies in on this one too.
Wow.
So again, I was investigating yet another claim of inappropriate behavior at work. And this time it was a bunch of flight attendants. Now, you're not going to believe me on this. This involved a male flight attendant. And as I recall, I want to say it was 4 female flight attendants. This is the incredible, rare sighting of an elusive creature, the heterosexual male flight attendant.
Oh, wow. I thought those are extinct.
I was surprised as you are.
Wow.
So they're at a crew hotel, which is where the crew stays overnight, right? And I want to say it was like in St. Louis. I can't remember. But they're in one of those hotels. It wasn't an Embassy Suites, but it was like it where there was the courtyard.
Right.
And then that's kind of where the hot tub was. So you've got everybody, it was outdoor, but you've got all the balconies kind of facing into the courtyard. So they start at the bar and they're drinking shots, all the things. And then they asked where the hot tub was. And they were told that it's closed, but it's over there. And they ignored that and go to the hot tub anyway. So they're in the hot tub and they're not wearing bathing suits. They're in their underwear. That's a problem. Not only is it a problem they're in the hot tub, but then they're wearing underwear. Well, then things get going and it's this, it's not a menage a trois. It's like a menage a 5. So they're in there doing all sorts of things. And unbeknownst to them, the general manager of the hotel was hosting a slumber party in one of the suites for her 9-year-old and at least 10 classmates. They were watching this happen. Right down. They were like, I think it was this it wasn't a tall hotel. It was like maybe 4th or 5th floor, but you had clear line of sight to the hot tub and what was transpiring. So as it was told to me, unfortunately, there was no surveillance footage, damn it. But, as it was told to me, the male flight attendant did not have anything on. He stood up and there was groping and other assorted activities going on.
Gotcha.
And, so when, of course, fast forward, this happens, they now get expelled from the crew hotel. So they've got a flight in the morning. Now they are thrown out because obviously the 9-year-old said, "Mommy, what's going on?" The chain of events leads to their expulsion. So I don't remember. I've clearly found some other accommodations, but, so when I think it was probably a few days later, find myself talking to them and interviewing them and giving them an opportunity to share their side of the story. I was talking to the guy who was so arrogant. He'd pulled the classic, "Do you know who I am?" And I'm like, no, and I don't care. Apparently his dad was an executive once upon a time, now is retired at the company. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm here to talk about last night.
Right.
Whatever. So I was going over the notes and I was like, well, it was said that you were totally nude. And he's like, no, what happened was, and when people start with what happened was, it's going to be a lot.
Right.
Don't you think?
Totally.
So he's like, what happened was when I stood up to leave the hot tub, the weight of the water pulled my suit down. Now, he said he had a suit on. I don't believe it. I believe it was a pair of boxers.
Yeah.
And, but he said that's what happened was that he was very embarrassed that his suit, fell down. And I was like, oh, so you were embarrassed, but I've heard you've gotten groped. I've heard other acts were performed on you. And all the women were in bras. And well, no, he denied, right? Just kept doubling, tripling down on. And so, then we interviewed the girls. I wasn't naked, only he was. And I'm like, but you were in your underwear. And then the common complaint was, well, this isn't the workplace. I'm like, you are in this hotel representing the company.
Correct.
Your uniforms were sitting over on the lounge chairs to say nothing of the fact that you were drinking while in uniform.
Right.
Right. Now we've progressed and there are people that have watched you all this go down. And so, long story short, obviously my findings were that I believe the 12 or the 9-year-old or whatever, the general manager, because the general manager also saw, right, after her kid had alerted her to it. And, I just will never, do you know who I am? That was my favorite line, in addition to the weight of the water.
Which I've been in enough hot tubs to know that the only way that happens is if suit is too big for you. Otherwise, It sticks you like a glove.
100%.
So,
or maybe it's time to get new underwear. The elastic has lived its life.
Right.
But he found himself on the unemployment.
Oh, so apparently people did know who he was and
didn't care.
Yeah, didn't care.
Because after my report came out, even though the union did not like their termination, they also kind of supported.
Well, I'm sure that dad was like, don't fucking bring my name into this, like, yeah, I don't know who could say.
I don't know if the dad got involved other than the guy evoking his name.
Right.
But, yeah, it was.
Well, also I would automatically turn off from listening to anything that he said after he said, I don't care who people are when they say stuff like that.
Yeah.
I automatically go, okay, you are a mess. And I'm not going to listen to anything that you say because you're being very
100%. Well, to say nothing of, what happened was, and it goes back to that rule. I've heard a bunch of mentors of mine say, you've got to keep it to a 2-drink or maximum, when you're on a work trip, because that clearly led to some horrifically poor decisions.
Right.
Right. And resulting in them getting fired. At least 2 drinks. Okay. Go back to your room. If you want to do all that in your room.
Right.
I'm mazel tov. Go.
Yeah.
Have fun.
You're not affecting anyone.
As long as
you get up the next day. Yeah, absolutely.
But,
yeah, where everyone can see and you've got your uniform. Like there's literally they just gave it away. Like who knows if they didn't have their uniforms there, if they would have made the connection that they were with the airline. Who knows?
And I even think their uniforms being there is irrelevant to me. The hotel knew who they were.
Right.
So therefore that could have risked our whole contract with that
Absolutely.
Hotel. Right. And
yeah, I'm not saying they should have done it, but they just kind of went completely ignorant of the fact that hey, maybe there's some people around that could see this, not even just a 9-year-old, but in general, do they want to be found? I don't know.
We'll never know. The other funny part is he was very adamant on the whole investigation being confidential. I'm like, absolutely. It's only given to, the only people that need to know, decision makers, blah, blah, blah. What I don't think he realized was that all of my reports went directly to the president of the company, who was this lovely woman who unfortunately recently passed away. Brought a tear to my eye, actually, but she was a hard ass. And I would actually put sticky notes on my report. This was the day like it went in her office envelopes.
Wow.
So my report, it was probably 20 pages or so, but I would stick sticky notes on it and say, okay, this one's a bit X-rated. Be forewarned.
So you put like warning labels like they do in the trailers.
Especially, yeah. Not, not NSFW.
NC-17. Yeah.
NC-17. And there was a couple I've sent her where there were some pictures attached. Just not in this investigation.
Gotcha.
Others I have. And, I remember she chuckled once at one of my notes, but so I was like, okay, you appreciate them. I'm still sticking these sticky notes.
Yep. I'll make you laugh and also warn you that you're going to get into dangerous territory when you read this. So.
Exactly. So note to self, if you're in a hot tub, keep it.
Right.
Keep the pants on.
Yeah. And even if you're not in the hot tub, if you're out anywhere, particularly traveling around with colleagues, like think about what you're doing because it could have an impact on the company and most of all yourself, really.
But then there's also me. Please keep doing that so we have good stories to tell. Because that was an investigation I actually enjoyed because everybody I interviewed, the story got better.
Oh my God.
First, it was just they were in there. Then it was, oh no, they were naked. Then it was, there was activities going on.
Wow.
So I'm like, I get paid to say, tell me more.
And while you do it, I'm just going to hit record. And
we did not record.
No, I know. But like that would have been great if you could have done that. Like we have to record it for documentation purposes.
Yes. But nope, it was just me taking copious notes. And then the best part was we would always, I'd come back to the office and the other investigator there, and we were in this kind of pod of cubicles. So we'd all wheel our chairs out and it would be like story.
Oh my God.
Like, oh, I've got one for you.
Oh,
yeah. It was a good time. I actually really liked that. It was a hard job because there was some disturbing things that happened.
Yeah.
But then we probably won't be talking about those. Anyway, that must be where we're wrapping up our show for the day. Get off. Stop talking. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Rob.
You're welcome back anytime.
Well, I'm going to force my way in whether you want me back here or not. I've got more stories.
And if you liked what we're talking about today, please hit that subscribe button and give us a like. That helps us out a lot. And leave us some of your stories in the comments. We will definitely come back and read those because somebody said on a different YouTube channel, God lives in the comments. Maybe in this case, the devil in the comments. But
maybe both of them on either side.
Either way, I want to know more. So until next time, we'll catch you later.
This video was recorded and produced by Just Talk Studios, your go-to destination for professional podcasting, video production, and content creation in Bellevue, Washington. Ready to elevate your brand with high-quality content? Visit justtalkstudios.com and let's bring your vision to life.